Welcome to this live stream from First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. Our mission is to love radically, grow ethically and spiritually, and serve justly. We invite you to visit our website at www.ucdsm.org. It's a great way to explore all that our church has to offer, from adult programs, to religious education, to social justice work, and more. But the best way to know us is to visit on a Sunday. We'd love to get to know you over a cup of coffee after the service. Speaking of which, today's service will begin shortly. So now we'll take you inside. Hear these words from the Reverend Gretchen Haley.
Let's try one more time.
Test, test. Hear these words from the Reverend Gretchen Haley. Though you have been warned and given plenty of explanations, reasons to do otherwise, you have persisted to claim a life of joy and justice, to carve out this time, this space, for the renewal of your own heart.
Despite all the reasons, the resistance fighting for your attention, luring you towards fear, you persist to practice gratitude for this day, this life that has been given, this chance to begin again.
And so let us gather, that we might offer one another courage, strength, healing, hope, and this promise to persist in kindness, persevere in compassion, and prevail in a life that is for more than ourselves. Please join with me in the chalice lighting words in your order of service. We gather knowing that our light can't reconstitute itself. Without each other, a coldness sits in, leaning on each other, trusting each other, helping each other fall back in love with life over and over again. Only from this does the flame emerge. Today, may it rise again. And now let us pass the peace. If you would prefer a little personal space, simply remain seated, and your neighbors will take the cue and leave you in peace. Please remain standing and join in hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. Good morning. I'm Bill Brock, he, him, your celebrant this morning. We welcome all people who welcome all people. We welcome all genders, ethnicities, bodies, and stories. Whatever you are carrying with you, whatever you long to set down or pick up today, may you find here the love, support, and encouragement you seek. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you'd like help connecting with folks, please be sure to grab a yellow Let's Talk mug. There it is. During coffee hour, to communicate your interest in getting to know more people. Our First Unitarian Church is located on land that has been home to people of woodland culture for 12,000 years, including the Iowa, Sauk, and Meskwaki. This weekend marks Imbolc, one of the 8 Sabbats in the Wheel of the Year, roughly halfway between winter solstice and spring equinox, and is a day to honor the goddess or saint Bridget.
Good morning, everyone. I'm the Reverend Steve Seek. I am honored to serve as minister here, and I use he, him pronouns. When you become a member here, and I hope you do, you commit not to a theological creed, but to a covenant. I invite you to join with me in speaking together our covenant, our bond of union. We covenant to associate ourselves together for the study and practice of morality and religion, as interpreted by the growing thought and noblest lives of humanity, hoping thereby to prove helpful one to another and to promote truth, righteousness, and love in the world.
Number 395, I know this shows will over 3 times. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfold its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Faithiana Leonard. I use any pronouns, and I'm the Faith Formation and Congregational Life Coordinator here at First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. At this time, we're going to be reading our story, so we invite all youth to come and sit up here on the floor in the front. If this is your first time here, after we read the story, we will be inviting the youth to come to class with us, and we will sing them out with our children's benediction. If you would like your youth to join our class, please come with your child if it's their first time to get them signed in, and then you're welcome to come back into service. So for today's story, it's actually going to be me and Reverend Steve reading it today. And today's story is adapted from Aesop's tale of the oak and the reed, and it's called The Strong Oak and the Bendy Reed. At the edge of a sunny meadow stood a tall, proud oak tree. Their branches stretched wide, and their trunk was thick and strong.
Look at me, I've stood here for years. Birds build their homes in my branches, and children nap in my shade. I am strong.
Nearby, besides a quiet stream, grew a small green reed. They were thin and gentle, swaying back and forth with every breeze, and the oak often worried about the reed.
Little reed, why do you bend so much? One strong wind might fold you in two. You should try to stand firm like me.
The reed smiled. I don't bend because I'm weak, the reed said softly. I bend so I can stay. And one afternoon, the sky darkened. Clouds rolled in, and the wind began to howl. Whoosh, whoosh. And the reed bent low, nearly touching the water. And the oak stood tall, tightened its roots, and refused to move.
I will not bend, I am strong.
And the wind grew fiercer. Crack! The oak groaned, and their branches shook, roots strained, and with one final gust, crack, the mighty oak fell. And when the storm passed, the sun returned, and the reed slowly lifted upright again, and the reed was tired, but it was still standing. And the fallen oak looked at the reed and sighed.
I thought being strong meant never moving.
And the reed replied gently, sometimes being strong means knowing how to bend. And from that day on, new plants grew where the oak had fallen, and the reed continued to sway, brave, flexible, and resilient, ready for whatever winds might come.
Good morning. My name is Kara Andreski, and I'm here once again to welcome you to come view our art wall. Today we have Judy Hagen, who's going to be with us throughout the month. She's been painting after a career practicing medicine. She studied for 4 years with Igor Kalandowski in watercolor and oil painting, and she has recently studied pastel paintings and enjoys being experimental with all kinds of different mediums. So go ahead and check out her beautiful work up on the gallery wall, and we welcome you to do that after coffee hour today before forum. So thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Taylor Nelson. I use she, her, hers pronouns. I've been attending First Unitarian since 2023 and a member since 2025. There were several signs and clear nudges for me to check out this church. I grew up in Des Moines but was living in Phoenix, Arizona from 2021 to 2023. The weekend before I moved back to Des Moines for a new job, I attended a First Unitarian church that my friend went to. She had told me about UU the Vote, so I went. As I was sitting at coffee hour, I mentioned Des Moines. Lo and behold, the person next to me used to attend First Unitarian. I wish I remembered who it was. I got swept up in the business of moving across the country and getting settled. Then a couple months later, I met with Harvey Harrison for work. He mentioned First Unitarian, and I thought, huh. I went and was immediately welcomed by Birch, who got me involved in choir and hospitality. I was swept in and embraced. In early 2024, I was having a tough time with my mental health. I stopped showing up. I isolated myself. Karen Kramer emailed me. She invited me back. I was missed. And thank goodness I went. The community I've joined here is so special. From choir to after choir club, to hospitality, to the Trans Life Festival, and even to Des Moines Roller Derby, thanks to Sarah Letourneau. I donate monthly to First Unitarian with my yearly pledge and to the Capital campaign. It allows me to demonstrate my values and give back. Whether it's your first donation or your 500th, whether you have given continuously or taken a break, I encourage you to invest in this church and the people who make it home, so we can build a better future together. So, if you've been looking for a sign to give, this is it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jim Carty, a pastoral care associate for our congregation. Sometimes we experience big changes in our lives, and we need a good listener to talk to. If you are feeling overwhelmed, lost, or alone in your grief, please call the pastoral care team. You can reach out to us at pastoralcareteam@ucdsm.com. You can also request assistance or submit a joy or sorrow through the Caring Community page on our website, or by speaking to me or any member of the pastoral care team. Here's what's been shared this week. First, a reminder of our new Cares and Concerns box located at the pastoral care desk, which is also the old organ console, just outside the auditorium. Cares and Concerns cards are one more way to share what's in our hearts and on your minds, so you don't have to hold it alone anymore. You can choose to share your name or remain anonymous, and there are boxes to check if you would like a call from the minister, a visit from pastoral care, or have your concerns shared with the congregation on Sunday morning. We have a joy, a sorrow, and a reminder to share this week. Monty and Angie Burrows are celebrating their 29th anniversary today, February 1st, 2026. Warm congratulations to you both on this special day. We continue to surround the family and friends of longtime member Fred LaCroix with our love and sympathy. Fred died peacefully on January 20th at the age of 93. A memorial service was held last Monday, January 26th, here at First Unitarian. A reminder that the Grief Support Circle now meets on the second Sunday of each month at 3 p.m. in the minister's office. The next gathering is on Sunday, February 8th, and all are welcome to attend. May you find comfort in knowing that you are held by this caring community. where all that you carry, both light and heavy, is seen and honored. We take this next moment to share aloud or in writing the names of those you are carrying in your heart today. We light 3 candles this morning. One for the joys and sorrows shared aloud. One for those shared in writing, and one for those held silently among us. Let us now take 1 minute out of our week to be quiet for a time.
The power and promise of Unitarian Universalism is found in meeting crises of fear and violence with radical imagination, transformative partnership, resilience, and joy. We make this possible through our commitment and our generosity. Thank you for your support. We now take up our morning offering, for in giving we receive. Now, before I begin my reflection on resilience, a mini reflection, I did not think those 3 wicks were ever going to light this morning. But I hung in there and got it done. Our theme for today's service is the question, what is resilience? What does it look like? When Steve asked me to think about this in the context of what I might say today, an experience immediately came to mind. In June 1987, after having graduated from the University of Iowa College of Law the month prior, I took the Iowa State bar exam. Now, back then, Iowa's bar exam was unique in our country, and it was grueling. It was grueling. It was given in 5 4-hour segments, starting in the mornings and afternoons of Monday and Tuesday, concluding with a final 4-hour segment Wednesday morning. So 20 hours in all. Each segment involved reviewing various fact scenarios and then applying case law and statute to reach conclusions on how each case should be decided. Each 4-hour segment might include 4 to 5 different cases. During the Monday and Tuesday segments, I used the entire 4 hours each time. So 4 times 4, 16 hours in at that point, with 4 hours to go Monday morning. However, when I got back to my Iowa City residence after the 4th session late Tuesday afternoon, I sat down in the kitchen and found I could not breathe. I was gasping for air. My chest hurt. I did not know what to do. I had several roommates, but no one else was home. I was just 30 years old, but I thought I might be having a heart attack. So I dialed 911. The medical emergency vehicle came quickly and took me immediately to the U of I hospital emergency room. While there, the healthcare providers concluded I was having a panic attack. They gave me oxygen, and I assume a sedative. I have a very hazy recollection of what happened. I did not really know what a panic attack was, but I sure found out that day. Now, Karen and I had been dating for months at that point, and she stayed with me Tuesday night and helped me get ready for the final 4-hour segment Wednesday morning. And I got to tell you, I felt like hell that morning. I hadn't slept well, and I didn't feel like eating much for breakfast. But I got to the student union, sat down, finished the test, and found out 2 days later I'd passed. That's the good news. I persevered and got through it with the help from the woman I love and wonderful medical help. But there was fallout from my experience. When I started my career with the Iowa Attorney General's office a few weeks after having passed the bar, I found I was having more problems with anxiety, including less intense but continued panic attacks, insomnia, and difficulty concentrating. All this meant a challenging beginning to my legal career. I was not surprised that this happened to me. I'd had a difficult time in junior high and in the first couple of years of high school relating to anxiety, manifesting them then as stomach aches. And with my dad's problems with depression, he was actually disabled by depression. I kind of figured I was genetically predisposed. What got me through both the bar exam episode and lesser episodes in the months that followed was my own strong will to keep going, having learned during middle school and high school that I can persevere and succeed, and the help of mental health professionals and Karen's love and understanding. What caused this in me in stressful situations is referred to as generalized anxiety disorder. I have learned that I have resilience in the times I've had to deal with it. And while it still rears its ugly head at times, I've learned over time this is not a weakness in me, it's just how I am. It's how I'm wired. It's just my body and how it naturally reacts to stress. I've learned how to hold it in check through medication, meditation, and exercise, by learning to live in the moment and being aware of the effect situations are having on me, by spending time doing the things I love to do, such as my political work, by taking time to enjoy the sweet things of life, not just chocolate, but but rather music with my classical guitar and singing in our choir, which I love. Spending time with our wonderful pets, cats Eddie and Tom, and my 2.5-hour daily walks with Titus, the sweetest dog the world has ever known. And of course, by spending time with my wife and daughter, who make living a joy and who I love so much. Resilience is not a word I used or even heard growing up in the 1960s and 70s. I'm not certain I'd ever even heard of the word until I became an adult. But I'll have to say, in my life, it has made all the difference.
Thank you for that beautiful song, and thank you, Bill, for your heartfelt reflection. I'm moved. And now for something completely different. Does anyone remember the football player William the Refrigerator Perry? No. I have a visual aid in case you've forgotten. There he is. He's number 72. Perry was on the defensive line. Stay with me. He was on the defensive line for the historically great 1985 Chicago Bears, the ones of Super Bowl shuffle fame. And at over 300 pounds, he was the biggest man on a football field anyone had ever seen. The only adjective they could give for him was, he looks like a refrigerator. See, back then, football players were much smaller than they are today. I looked it up, and I am a few sandwiches away from 3 of those 1985 Bears. Me. The point is, they are much bigger now. You cannot find an offensive lineman in the NFL today that weighs less than 300 pounds. You see, in these last 40 years, sports nutrition and the way we train young athletes has produced unimaginably stronger and faster and bigger football players. These huge men that sprint at one another with incredible speed directly into one another. The result is predictable. These days, there's an average of 1 out of every plays resulting in a major injury. How could it not, right? If force is mass times acceleration, and you increase mass and you increase acceleration, you've got a lot of force colliding into one another. You increase a lot of injuries. So to bring it to Aesop's fable, these football players are very, very strong oaks, unimaginably strong. But as a result, they're not particularly resilient. How could they be? Their capacity to resist one another, immovable objects and unstoppable forces, well, that is astounding. But like the oak in Aesop's fable, whenever they meet a strong enough wind, they don't know how to bend. They can only break. And so in their effort to hold the ground by pushing and tackling and defeating the opponent, they often end up on the sideline in crutches. Strong, just not resilient. As we've mentioned already, this month of February, we explore the theme of embodying resilience. What do you think of when I say that word, resilience? For me, it comes to Gumby. From the Latin, inclined to spring back. You can stretch Gumby, he comes back. You can squeeze Gumby, he returns to his shape. Like the reed in Aesop's fable, he can bend in the wind and then return to his position. If we're looking for an athletic parallel to football players, it would probably be yoga teachers, right? Their muscles aren't as big or as powerful as these contemporary NFL players, but they can flex and extend and then spring back into shape. I cannot do that. They can bend without breaking. And so for me, what got interesting was that February's theme of embodying resilience pairs so interestingly with January's theme, practicing resistance. On the face of it, I read these as opposites. Football players resist one another, but yoga teachers bend and stretch. Resistance means pushing back. You can push a strong oak, you just won't get anywhere with it. But resilience is what helps us get through, like a reed that bends and then springs back in the storm. But then I keep reading the news, and I don't know that it's as simple as that. I've been thinking a lot about our siblings up in Minneapolis. And we say that they are resisting ICE, for example. Our colleagues are showing up in force to speak up for love and justice and equity and compassion, and they are being met with tear gas and arrests and terror and executions. So we find ourselves in a language of team love resisting team hate, so to speak. And yes, in some ways they are resisting, but I think they're also embodying a quality of resilience. They are not meeting force with force. They are not football players colliding into one another. Rather, like reeds, they are firmly rooted in their moral values, but they are flexible and limber. You could say that they are resisting resiliently. So as we think about these two words of resistance and resilience, I think we have some experience with them in our own lived experience, yeah? I suspect that resistance is our default setting. At least that seems that way when a child reaches about 2. They discover the power of the word no. Time to brush your teeth? No. Time to go to bed? No. Little oak saplings learning for the first time how to be immovable. But we grow into it. We live in a culture that thinks of win, lose, me versus you. So you try to beat the other kids at the race on the playground. You try and beat the other team in all of your sports. And it doesn't get much better when you go into adulthood. We're defeating the other political party in the upcoming election. We're trying to win the war on drugs, or the war on terror, or the war on poverty. Even in our hardest, most tender moments, we say that our aunt lost her battle with cancer. Aunt Edna versus cancer. Always the same framework, two teams oppositionally playing, one is the winner, one is the loser. Oak thinking. But you live long enough and you realize that you cannot always resist the winds in life, right? Many of us have experienced this, the crack in this storm. Sometimes it feels like everything breaks. I think many of us have been there, lying in pieces in the field, in that place that you find only after every ounce of your resistance has met a gale force wind. Now, you and I might not know what it's like to be an NFL player being carried off the field. But I think we know what it's like when you leave the doctor's office with news you did not see coming, or the meeting with the manager about the new direction the company is going in, or that 2 a.m. call from your sibling, I got news about Dad. In those moments when you break, there's no resistance left to give. This is when you begin your journey of resilience. Falling apart, putting ourselves back together again. The sculptor Paige Bradley thinks about this process a lot, not with trees, but with pottery. She says this: kintsugi is the Japanese art of putting broken pottery pieces back together with gold, built on the idea that in embracing our flaws and imperfections, you can create an even stronger, more beautiful piece of art. It is also a metaphor for resilience, embracing your wounds as part of your path of evolution. Your scars show the path traveled, and you are more beautiful and stronger for having been broken. End quote. Bradley suggests that our scars remind us that we have already fallen apart many times and found a way to spring back, to be resilient. And she is demonstrably right. Look, here you are this morning, back together in what appears to me to be one piece. And I say this because there was a moment in the past when you thought you would never recover. And here you are, resilient. You have sprung back. And yes, there are scars along the side of your bowl, but they're made of gold. Reminders of the wisdom that you would have never chosen to gain, but you've gained all the same. And at the same time, I want to acknowledge that that doesn't feel right to talk about our lived experiences the way we talk about Gumby, right? Resilience is not as simple in our lives as springing back. Every golden scar on the bowl is also a reminder that the bowl changed. Eric Greitens was a Rhodes Scholar and then a Navy SEAL, and now a writer about resilience. He suggests that bouncing back is the wrong way to look at resilience. He writes this: life's reality is that we cannot bounce back. We cannot bounce back because we cannot go back in time to the people we used to be. You know there is no bouncing back. There is only moving through. What happens to us becomes a part of us. Resilient people do not bounce back from hard experiences. They find healthy ways to integrate them into their lives. End quote. Whatever it is that you have lived through, and you have, here you are, whatever it is that knocked you down or broke the tree in half is now a part of you. And yes, you do carry the aches from those experiences, but you also carry the wisdom from them. For it's almost obvious to say it out loud, we are not who we once were. We're different from who we were before the pandemic, before the divorce, before the diagnosis, All of the aches are still there, and I know. But there are also days when you feel like a pile of pottery shards. But I want to say this, it has been my experience that the people who have had their hearts break the most in the past are often the people with the most expansive and beautiful hearts now. That only when an oak truly snaps in half do most people learn how to transform into a beautiful reed. I want to say the hard thing. I want to acknowledge what's on our hearts and minds as a community oriented around compassion. The wind of American fascism right now feels just too strong to bear. I want to hold that grief with you. It was 8 days ago when an ICE agent pushed a woman to the ground, and then ICU nurse Alex Preddy nonviolently intervened. And for that, he was pepper sprayed, tackled, and executed. I know what I saw in those videos. For this, he was labeled a terrorist by our government. And so I want to offer some sort of winning plan, but I cannot stand at this pulpit and preach that if we just play the better game, if we get stronger and faster and stand more firmly, then we will defeat this. That's like waging war on wind. But I can say that what we have seen in the Twin Cities is an extraordinary display of resilience. Street protests have chaplains moving about, offering spiritual and ethical care to people in the midst of this trauma. There are mutual aid networks throughout the Twin Cities that are bringing groceries to families who are hiding in their homes. There are folks picking up and dropping off kids whose parents can't leave their houses. There are clergy and congregants across faith traditions that normally hate one another that are now gathering in unity to offer moral witness to this injustice. Can I linger on this point for a minute? Catholics and Lutherans and Episcopalians waged centuries of war on one another. And they are so in agreement on this, they are in agreement with imams and rabbis and even UUs, that this is demonstrably wrong. And I want to say to you that I think it is working. Our president, by the way, our president of the Unitarian Universalist Association, stood in moral witness at the Capitol in D.C. while they were debating how much ICE budget to keep going. Keep in mind, ICE's budget, top 20 military budgets in the world. Okay, so there's 180 countries that don't have the budget that ICE has. She stood in moral witness and was arrested for that. But this resilience is working because the wind aims to knock down oaks. And what it is finding instead in the Twin Cities is an incredibly resilient bed of reeds that will bend but will never break, that are not trying to out-bully bullies, but they are absolutely holding the moral ground. As the civil rights song says, we shall not be moved. In these weeks and months to come, I'm afraid that we're going to be asked to resist more times than anyone would want. More times than it seems our hearts can bear. And it is in these moments of our greatest challenges that I'm here to say, make sure the roots of your reeds are wrapped firmly around your values, around your spiritual and ethical practices. If you were the kind of person that felt human and open-hearted with 5 minutes of meditation last year, this year it's probably 10. If you needed a morning walk to feel like your best self, you probably need an evening walk too now. If you journaled for a page, try 3 pages now. Because we don't live in a world where we can once and forever win the battle of love versus hate. Wars against nouns don't work. Stay open-hearted, stay limber for the storms that come ahead. Because these are the times that my grandchildren will ask me about in 40 years. These are the moments in our history that 100 years from now, 7th graders will be reading about. And we shall not be moved. I think about the song in our hymnal, we are going, and heaven knows where we're going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. By our resilience, by the roots that hold us to our values. For in the end, resilience is about choosing to live our lives. It is about choosing to live our lives, to foster the resilience to be fully present and fully human and fully open-hearted for all the days that are ours to live. When we embody resilience, we make the choice to not give wind the power to crack us in half. Do you hear that? To not give ice the power to terrorize your spirit, to not give the onslaught of illegal and immoral laws the power to crack you in half. Embodying resilience is about claiming our right to live, to thrive in this world, knowing that the world will always have storms. I close with this poem by Rosemary Watola Tromer. I want to give you what I could not give you, a world where there is no hurt or grief. Because I cannot give you this, I want to give you the certainty that you can live fully in a world where there is hurt and grief, that you can meet what is most painful and at the same time turn toward what is most beautiful. I want to give you the belief in your resilience, want you to know yourself as a flower that grows more vigorously after it's been cut back. May that be so. May our humanity prevail. Amen.
Sorry, please stand up. Page 1020. Sorry. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know it. And we will get there, heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be all we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within. And we will get there, heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Please join me in saying the extinguishing chalice words in your order of service or on the screen. May you embrace your growing with compassion. May courage be yours as you answer your heart's calling. May beauty and wonder be yours even when the going gets rough, and may love always be at your center.
Dear ones, root yourselves in your values, honor your golden scars, go forth in love, supported by the resilience of this community of reeds. Amen.
Ours a religion which like sunshine goes everywhere. Its rebel all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love.
As this live stream from First Unitarian Church comes to an end, remember that previous live streams can be found on our YouTube channel. We'd love to see you in person someday. Until then, thanks for joining us.